Welcome to Andrew's Wanderings. This is the session on meetings, and so you're going to join me on a walk. Probably got Ollie with me, my dog, but we're going to talk about how to have effective meetings for leaders. To complement this, you do have a guide that sits in the Leadership Collective community, and if you're not a part of that, feel free to join. It's a monthly subscription, and you can gain access to training and development as a new and emerging leader also. Check it out in the description. But yeah, hope you enjoy it and love your feedback. Welcome to my wanderings. We're talking about meetings. Now, a couple of things that go out in this one is this session is going to be a little bit about what I love and hate about meetings and lessons I've learnt from chairing them, formal ones through to being an MC at large staff meetings of 200 to 300. Yes, you heard that right. To this week I looked up and my schedule already has nearly 10 hours of meetings in it before I even start work. Okay, that's a quarter of my week. I'm in meetings. All right, and you're probably the same. You're a new leader. You've just been thrown into all these meetings. Someone maybe before you said you really need these meetings. They're the lifeblood of the organization, whatever it is. Okay, but you look at your schedule and you're there going, wow, when do I do my work? And that's one of the problems. So we're going to talk a bit about that. To complement this, all right, there's a guide for you that's available on our Leadership Collective site, which you can get available for free for those of you who aren't in the Leadership Collective. For those of you who are, we'll have discussions around this. And I invite you to put your comments into the community, ask questions, bring your scenarios in and gain feedback in how to have or transform your team in that space. So a couple of things, remember, things you can control. All right, so as a team leader, what can you control? What are the meetings in your domain? Some of them are not, but you can still influence them and how you play a part in that process. Okay, so a couple of things from me. All right, number one, in everybody's playbook, and including mine, is I hate turning up to a meeting that I don't need to be in, where I feel like the goal is the meeting. I don't know why we meet. I don't know what I'm supposed to bring to that meeting. It's not fully clear. All right, but I just have to attend and be present. Now I can be positive and I can contribute and I can do all those things because you're an experienced leader. You don't have to be the Debbie Downer or the negative person or turn your camera off or whatever. You're present, you're there, you're active. That's a given. All right, but if you turn up to a meeting that doesn't need to happen, it's demoralizing. It's painful for culture. And I've worked in numerous organizations where, there's a book by Patrick Lencioni called Death by a Meeting. And a couple of organizations, that's definitely how we lived. All right. And so the larger your organization, a bit more bureaucratic, the multiple levels. Now all those levels meet. Senior leadership, middle management. Now you've got your team that you run. Then you've got peer leaders. Then you've got workshop and development training for those peer leaders, senior executives. Then you've got strategy sessions for middle managers. And it just adds up and adds up. So first thing I'll always say and ask is, do I have to be in that meeting? What is my purpose in being there? And once I work that out, I can contribute. Maybe I could bring that piece of information just through data or a presentation or a video. I don't need to sit through an hour-long presentation of every other person's stuff when they just need to hear from me on my 2 to 3 minutes. So a couple of those things. So do I need to be in the meeting? What is it about? Don't run meetings for the sake of meetings. Okay. In the guide, I talk about the 3 meetings framework. All right, this is really critical because we design meetings for all sorts of things. We create. We need to meet together about that. We've got a decision to make. We need to meet with who needs to be in the meeting. It just ends up being a meeting fest, not a decision-making process. Meetings are not a decision-making process. Okay? All right? If you need debate, if you need clarification, if you need discussion around a subject or a decision, then meet. But if you're just going to read information, if you're just going to read the data that everyone can see anyway, then that meeting is pointless. All right. So let's run with that. Let's keep going. We've got the 3 meeting framework. I talk about 3 meetings. A daily huddle. All right. I've got stand-ups, handovers, huddles, whatever they are. They are literally what is important right now, what's on today, what are the roadblocks, let's go. Okay, it is not a story time, not a history lesson, all right? But I will say this in a daily huddle and in every meeting. If you're chairing it, start the meeting off with something to connect people and bring them into that time. I'm an educator, all right? So we talk about this, icebreakers and all sorts of stuff, but essentially you are breaking the ice, which is what's called the icebreaker, but you're breaking the barrier between where I was and where I am now. And you need to bring people through that barrier. They were just in another meeting somewhere talking about something else. They were just on the floor working. Whatever they were doing, they've turned up, they've walked in, they're standing there. They're not there yet. Your job is to learn the art of 30 to 60 seconds getting people in the room. All right? That's what you have to do. Okay? There's a bunch of ideas in the guide for you to get you started. But once you get started, you'll get there. You'll find the ones that work, and those just end up in hilarious conversations. All right? So, huddle, do it where possible, make it quick. All right? Best time is before a shift, before the day gets going, or in the early part of it, depending on your industry and your workload. Number 2, talk about weekly or fortnightly. Okay, these are how we're going. These are check-ins on against the agreed goals. These aren't how are yous. Okay, use not quite a word. Sorry. All right, but these are, it's a bit windy, so hopefully it comes through. But these are your time to what are the targets, what are the goals for that month, that quarter, that year, how are we against them, what are the major roadblocks, and there might only be 1 or 2, maybe 3 points of discussion. Okay, if a CEO needs to present, that's 1 point of discussion. Okay, it is critical for senior leadership to present to team and be present in the front lines. Okay, but make that one of the points. All right, don't just skip through it. Oh, CEO presented, tick. Now, Johnny, what were you doing yesterday with the presentation? Such a contrast. Draw out what the CEO said, what you want to highlight on it, and how you want them to relate to it. Okay, so that weekly meeting fortnightly meeting that where are we up to, but it's got to be against the targets that you are currently walking towards as a team. If you're not talking about those things, okay, then you're just having a talk fest. All right. Meetings are group meetings, remember. These aren't your one-on-ones. These aren't your check-ins. Remember, you add this later on top. So this is why we've got to reduce the amount of meetings, especially team and department heads and groups. And okay, so weekly. If you can go to fortnightly, great. But if you have a high risk or high intensity environment, probably weekly is good. Okay. Now, the third meeting that I talk about is that quarterly strategy, that North Star directional. Where are we at? Let's review those goals. Let's confirm the ones where we're headed so that that becomes our conversation. Okay. They take a bit more time, but again, we don't go into the day-to-day in those ones. See how we flip the agenda? Okay, we move from daily check-ins, what's on today, weekly, fortnightly, how are we tracking towards things in that period of time, in that month, week, whatever reporting cycle you're in. And quarterly is you take a step out. Where are we? Where are we headed? That could be values, vision, mission, targets. All of those get reviewed there. Chew on them. What's our market say? What's our competitors doing? Okay, the bigger your organization, they might be longer. All right. You connect together, you learn together, you build trust together in those meetings. Vulnerability would happen in those meetings. Okay? If you ever read any Bree Brown's material, all right, vulnerability is critical in a leadership team. All right, that's great in that space. Take some time. Where are you at in your role, your job? How you feeling about it? You know, what support do you need? Where are you headed? Okay, so those 3 meetings are really all we need for group meetings. If you've got more than that, all right, even that can multiply. Remember, if you've got 4 teams you look after, then all of a sudden you've got 4 team fortnightly meetings. All right, half an hour, 45 minutes. That all adds up, guys. And remember this, every time you meet, you cost the organization money. Okay? Think about the value in that room for that period of time. All right? The only organization that was different for me in this is, obviously I was a volunteer for 17 years. And so when we had a meeting with staff, well, it didn't cost us cash per se. Okay? Which was the danger. All right? Because we would miss the point of maybe it's costing us time. Time is the most valuable commodity, not money. All right, so don't mistake just because you're all volunteers that you're saving money. You're not. All right, you're costing the organization. You're costing the effort and the vision and the mission of the organization. Okay, so think about those. That's your 3 meeting framework. All right, have a look at that, dialogue around that, have a look at your schedule. Do you live in that framework? Okay. Lastly, some hints and tips to running a meeting. Okay, like I said, I've been the chairperson of an organisation. I currently run a charity as well. I'm the director on the board. Okay, so there's quite formal meetings that have to take place that sit under legislation and law. Okay, you have so many a year, and you've got to keep notes and decisions and policies and procedures around those meetings. That's all things you have to set up and be aware of. But as a new leader, you're often not exposed to that just yet. what you're thinking through is my daily huddle, my one-on-one check-ins, my weekly team meeting that I'm a participant in, maybe as a manager, but then I've also got my team meeting. Okay, so now we're at 2. See, this is why if you can go to fortnightly, it really help you. All right. So, as the chair, as the organizer, okay, always, hear me, always have an agenda. Even if it's in a calendar invite and it's 3 bullet points. Okay, even if it's just a piece of paper with scribbled 5 notes, whatever it is. The more organized you are, the more you're going to get out of the meeting anyway. But what is that agenda? What is it going to look like? So as I was saying, we have as a chair, as an organizer of the meeting, who's doing what. Be aware of the roles. Who's going to write notes? AI is brilliant at writing notes. Use AI where possible. Okay. You can put it on your phone in the middle of the room. You can your laptop in the video conference, whatever it is. Use AI. All right. Screen what it does. Clean it up. Whoever the note taker is can clean it up now, and really only produce the things that need to be done in that document. Okay. But be organised. So the chair always, 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 going a bit of a hill now. Always, always, always have an agenda. Okay. Intro. What are the topics of discussion? Outro. Conclusion. Whatever you call it. All right. So that's some highlights for you. It's not long. It's designed so you can chew on this a little bit. It's designed so you can start to look at this world of meetings. Because in my experience and many leaders' experience, meetings are like a parasite, a virus. You let them grow from good intentions, and trust me, they will grow. And you'll have meetings galore all over your schedule, all over your world. Okay? Now, little caveat, if your job is meeting clients for sales, these aren't the meetings we're talking about. That's your job. That's the activity. Okay? That's the business. That's the working in the company. For some of you, you need to meet 5 clients a week, 10 clients a week, 50 clients a week, whatever it is. That is your job. These aren't those meetings. These are the ones that run your team, your organization to achieve those outcomes. So don't mix up. Okay? If your calendar's full of meetings, but those meetings are your job, then great work. But if those meetings are just managing people, unless maybe you're HR, then I would suggest you've got too many meetings in your world. Think what can be communicated by email, by video, as in the information and the mission, so that when you do meet, that's valuable time. And the primary function I will leave you with will be to connect with your team. Okay? If your team can go into a meeting and come out and go, we were heard, what if that one thing, 2 things? It doesn't matter. It's that sense of being heard, something progressed, change was made, and I'm a part of something, okay, that's progressing and moving, and I'm not just a worker in a cog. So, connection. I leave that with you as you go into your week, as you go into this time. Build connection with your team. That's what meetings are for. That connection is through discussion and through debate, all right, through vulnerability, okay, not through reading charts, reading documents, stuff which I've probably got all the information already. So have a great week, Leadership Collective. Those of you who are not, encourage you to join us, join the discussion. Okay, subscription. It's a monthly subscription, so you can sign in and sign out when it help you bring your teams into it as leaders. Okay, place where young leaders, new leaders, what I call emerging leaders, can connect, grow, and become thriving leaders in our workplaces, in our organizations. Enjoy.